Greetings, I am Nora Rhoades. I'm a Kansas State Research and Extension Family and Youth Development Agent for the Post Rock Extension District. Kansas State Research and Extension provides research-based education, knowledge, services, and resources throughout all 105 counties in the state of Kansas. The Post Rock Extension District serves Jewell, Lincoln, Mitchell, Osborne, and Smith counties in north central Kansas. As a family and youth development agent working in the family and consumer sciences field, it is my mission to bring education and resources that help improve the quality of family life for all Kansans. Today, welcome to Extension Ed Talks. We're going to talk about managing time, work, and family. I want you to keep in mind as we go throughout this conversation today that there is no one best practice to managing your time, managing work, and managing your family life. It's actually something that is best achieved when you're flexible and you're adaptable throughout day-to-day activities, weekly activities, as the seasons change, just as the Kansas weather, or, we have to be flexible and adaptable as life catches us off guard with maybe a tragic event or a surprise we weren't expecting. When I talk about managing time, work, and family, I'm really actually talking about wellness in general. The National Wellness Institute describes wellness as an active process through which people become aware of and make choices toward a more successful existence. So what exactly does that mean? Well, there are 6 dimensions of wellness. Those are occupational, physical, social, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual wellness dimensions. Physical wellness recognizes the need for health, nutrition, and physical activity. That one's easy to understand. We know that we need 150 minutes of physical activity a day, and we need to eat a healthy plate, vibrant with lots of fruits and vegetables. Social wellness emphasizes the value of contributing to your environment and community rather than living an all-about-me lifestyle. Intellectual wellness encourages creativity and discovering potential through lifelong learning. Spiritual wellness is a dimension that promotes understanding the meaning and purpose of the human existence and the alignment of one's actions with their values and beliefs. Emotional wellness fosters awareness, acceptance, and management of one's feelings, which assists independent ventures and supports your meaningful relationships. Occupational wellness is the dimension that recognizes the satisfaction gained from work through the appreciation of your attitude, your skills, and your talents. So when we're talking about managing time, work, and family, what we're really talking about is how well do you achieve overall wellness. And maybe this is about you as an individual, maybe this is about your family unit as a whole, or if you're thinking more about the workplace component or the occupational component of your life, it could be where you work, where you volunteer, or where you engage with the community. How does that team function? I like to think of wellness like a wagon wheel. So think of the Oregon Trail wagon, that you learned about in elementary school, or if you, like me, you played the Oregon Trail game growing up. The families were successful by riding their wagon across the terrain, and they had wagons with wooden old wagon wheels, and these wheels were held together by spokes, okay? Imagine that your wellness wheel and the different dimensions that I mentioned, occupational, physical, social, intellectual, spiritual, and emotional, imagine that each of those dimensions makes up one of the spokes of your wheel. This round wheel, it really relies on each spoke to carry the weight of the wagon and across the terrain of the land. So your wellness wheel, this is how you achieve a satisfying lifestyle. The dimensions are interconnected and dependent on each other. If you have a 1 weak spoke, your wheel will not turn as effectively as it could. You will not reach your full potential. Wellness is holistic. It's active. It's positive when you're achieving in it as a whole. It supports people as they navigate through the world and around them as they live an enriched lifestyle. So let's take a moment to imagine your own individual wellness. Or, as I mentioned earlier, maybe you want to imagine your family unit's wellness or your workplace's wellness. Is there a spoke that is broken or doesn't allow the wellness wheel to carry the weight of life? Maybe you are developing a list of more than one spoke that's broken or damaged, or still on the mend, not quite replaced yet. Maybe this list needs attention right away, or it's just slowly wearing down and you think you can recover quickly. That's okay. Life isn't easy, and neither is managing your time, work, and your family. There is no quick or permanent fix to finding balance. Satisfaction and consistency are what get us through life. It's an ongoing process requiring flexibility and adaptability throughout day-to-day, seasonal, and once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Being successful at managing time, work, and family is ultimately achieved by committing to your overall wellness. A sick child, difficulty saying no, an unexpected tragedy, maybe the start of a new school year that's quickly approaching us, welcoming home a military spouse. These are all things that can affect the wheel that we call our wellness. Welcome to Extension Ed Talks. Thank you for joining us. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to discuss some strategies to help you manage your time, your work, and your family.
When it comes to customer service, other carriers just can't compete. At Nex-Tech Wireless, we don't hire just anybody to assist our customers. We won't bounce your call around to 16 different supervisors, and we'll never tack on unexpected charges to your monthly bill. We'll even buy out your old contract for $650 so you no longer have to deal with second best. We train hard to win a gold medal in customer service. Nex-Tech Wireless, something different.
Hi?
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Let us shop for you. Contact Rogers & Associate to learn more.
Welcome back to Extension Ed Talks, Managing Time, Work, and Family. I'm Nora Rhoades, your K-State Research and Extension Family and Youth Development Agent in the Post Rock Extension District. Before the commercial, I was talking about how we can manage time, work, and family from a wellness perspective. There are 6 dimensions of wellness according to the National Wellness Institute, and those dimensions are occupational wellness, physical wellness, social wellness, intellectual wellness, spiritual wellness, and emotional wellness. Maintaining a life of wellness is incredibly important, and the habits you build will increase the satisfaction where you live, work, and play. Have you ever heard of the 80-20 rule? In the business world, this rule explains that 20% of your efforts result in 80% of total output. When applying this rule to one's personal life, this means that 80% of the values and memories are gained from only 20% of your life activities. Yes, that means you and I could be wasting 80% of our time on things that we don't even recognize to be important. So, what is hogging your time and producing minimal reward? Let's use Stephen Covey's The Big Rocks experiment to demonstrate this. This jar of sand here is your minimal reward. What is that minimal reward for you? Is it unplanned trips to the grocery store, electronics, lack of sleep, staying up too late? Maybe it's just a lack of interest, no passion in what you're doing. Procrastination, waiting to the last minute, not planning ahead? Is it guilt? Does guilt keep you up at night? People pleasing. Is that minimal rewarding for your family, for you, at home, maybe at work? Are you overcommitted? Is your plate too full? Are there miscommunications? These are all habits, activities that create minimal reward and distract us from achieving overall wellness for ourselves, our family, and our workplace and community teams. If I were to pour our minimal reward activities into our glass jar, which represents one day in our life, would I be able to get the big rocks in? No. The answer is I wouldn't. These big rocks, there are 6 of them that I have here. Maybe your life has more, maybe your life has less, but one for each dimension of wellness that we're trying to achieve throughout the ups and downs of life. So, occupational wellness. Do you have a job that you love to go to and that's rewarding? Maybe you choose not to work, but you still have talents and skills. Do you put those to good use throughout the day? Physical wellness. Are you getting your 150 minutes every day? Are you eating a healthy and vibrant plate of good nutrition? Social. Are you spending time with your family around the dinner table, truly getting to know each other? Are you making a friend at work? Or are you only focused on me, me, me? Intellectual wellness. We focus a lot on our intellectual wellness in the school years. We're being creative, we're learning. But did you know that learning continues throughout your entire life? Have you tried something new lately? Maybe you need to choose a big rock for that. As you can see already, our day is getting pretty full when we just focus on the important things. Spiritual wellness. Do you take time every morning to meditate? Do you have a religious group that you spend time prioritizing? Whatever it is, you need to find meaning in your life. And emotional wellness. Do you really take time to understand what's going on in your life, what's triggered it, and how you can come up with a solution to overcome it? This is emotional wellness. Resiliency. We filled our day with what's important. We all have something different that we could write on our big rocks. At home, I challenge you to get a notepad out and make a number 1 through 6 and write down what are your 6 big rocks. Maybe there's 6 big rocks for the day. Maybe there's 6 big rocks for the week. Maybe they're for the month, the school year, the summer season, just the holiday couple weeks. Maybe it's for the year. Your big rocks can change, but regardless, they need to be a priority. Now that we have the big rocks as a foundation of our life, we can work in these other low reward activities. It's not to say that these aren't important. They're the glue that holds some parts of our life together, but they're not the most important things, of course. What I wouldn't have been able to achieve by simply focusing on the minimal reward activities first, I can now do when I put first things first. Now I know sitting down at the kitchen table on a Sunday before you get back to the work week, or even after a work week and you sit down and you're trying to figure out how you're going to get through a long weekend, it can be hard to do this simple simulation that Stephen Covey taught us. But this is really what's important. This is what managing your time, work, and family is all about. Take a moment throughout the break to think about your big rocks and how you can do a better job at putting them first. When we return, we're going to learn more strategies about managing your stress, communicating with those you love and work with, and achieving mindfulness throughout your daily routines.
Make moving and storing your home or business easy with storage solutions of Hayes and Victoria. With 2 facilities, they can store anything from antiques to automobiles and everything in between. Interior units for items needing special care. Drive-up units of all sizes, perfect for home or business. And outside storage for trucks, boats, and RVs. As an authorized U-Haul dealer, they have everything for your next move, across town or across the country. Storage solutions of Hayes and Victoria, making moving and storing easy.
The Rusty Tractor in Kensington offers big city dining with a small town feel. The Rusty Tractor features hand-cut steaks, burgers, wraps, and more, all with generous portions and quality products. The Rusty Tractor is proud to serve the area farming communities and welcomes everyone. Come as you are in your boots and jeans. You'll be right at home. Open daily and conveniently located on Highway 36. For more information, find them on Facebook, or for a full menu, visit rustytractorkensington.com.
Welcome back to Extension Ed Talks, Managing Time, Work, and Family. I'm Nora Rhoades, your K-State Research and Extension Family and Youth Development Agent in the Post Rock Extension District. Here I'm joined with our Kansas State Research and Extension Specialist in Family Systems, Charlotte Shoup-Olsen. Earlier in the program, we discussed achieving the management of your time, your work, and your family through looking at life as a goal to accomplish overall wellness. We talked about the 80-20 rule and how 80% of our values and memories are actually only gained from 20% of our activities. I demonstrated this with the Big Rocks experiment. Now Charlotte is going to share with us a little bit more about how we can overcome the obstacles that get in the way of achieving our overall wellness. Thanks for being here, Charlotte.
You're welcome. I enjoy having this experience. And as we think about overall wellness, we forget sometimes about the mind and how that so influences all those 6 spokes. 50,000 thoughts are probably going through our head every day. And those thoughts, they impact our physical health and our mental health. So as we think about the overall wellness and relating to other people around us, we'll start with that and the communication we have with each other. We have to think about the power that we have to influence that, the decisions that we have, whether those times of interacting with others will be positive or negative. So as you see this slide, the power of positive talk is when you are communicating with someone else, what about the tone of voice? What about your listening skills? Are you really listening, or are you just thinking in your mind how I'm going to respond, especially if there's a conflict? And then there's the power of timing. When do you bring up and talk about, particularly if it's issues in which you disagree? And then the power of respect. You can always disagree, but you can always have respectful interactions regardless if you disagree.
Those are great suggestions, and I'm sure we can all think as we hear of those ideas of a few examples that demonstrate the importance of this. Do you have an example that you use when you're working with citizens throughout the state of Kansas?
There are many examples that you can use. One of them I do use is perhaps you are listening to, well, as right now we are listening to the Summer Olympics, and everybody's involved in that, and you get the credit card bill in the mail and you don't like what you see. And other family members sitting around watching that TV are really engrossed in the Olympics, but you want to talk about that right now. That's the power of timing. Will it work if you bring it up right now? Most possibly not. If you bring it up in harsh tones with the tone of your voice and the demands that you made and a disrespectful communication, you always do this using the word you. That can be an example of several of those things.
Okay, so when you're thinking about managing all that happens in a single day for a family unit, how can disrespect and lack of timing negatively impact your time management as you're trying to get to work on time, get the kids to their ball games, and then maybe try to work in that time for spiritual reflection that we know from previously in the program is so important.
And then maybe a child gets sick and you need to get to work.
Yeah.
You add more things onto it. Stress is a part of our lives, and it can be helpful or it can really be very detrimental to our long-term health. But you know what? We have a choice. We have a choice on how we perceive that stress. If we anticipate that everything is going to just continue cycle and increase tension, it will. But if we put another spin on that stress and try to think about ways that we can make things work out in a more peaceful way, it may happen.
Okay, great. And it'll probably make you stronger in the long run, build
It
resilience.
will. And you know, as we talk about talking with family members, community members, people at work, there's a lot of research that's gone in of a formula called 5 to 1. For every negative interaction you have with another person, and again, you can disagree, but if you have that disrespectful communication, it will take at least 5 positive interactions for that relationship to really be protected. 5 to 1 is a big one. And then we talk about, okay, things are not always going to go just as you would like. Right. Conflict in a family, trying to manage time, work, and family is very common. And there's another way that has been demonstrated through the years, through lots of research with individuals and other important persons to them. It goes something like this. When this happens, or we all like to have fun. Fun is an important part of life. It adds to that wellness dimension that Nora shared with us. But when I walk into the house at night and there are dirty dishes everywhere and people are watching TV, I get really frustrated because I feel overloaded and I get angry. It would really help if everyone would take their dishes to the dishwasher when they've used them during the day. It slows down that conflict and it allows more, and it gets away from that blaming, that sharp, harsh blaming, and talks about how that it's impacting you.
You know, and when you were describing that, I was thinking about our wellness wheel, our spokes, and we were talking about the social and emotional spoke earlier. You know, if you were thinking about that as a family unit, you probably have recognized joint values, things that are important that you share. And if you focus on the positive first, you're going to recognize you do all like to have fun. And if you want to have fun on Saturday afternoon, these are what need to happen. And so you don't just approach the bad, you're focusing on the good.
Absolutely. So you bring up
strategy.
That positive, and then you talk about how remedies that could help and getting input from everybody.
You know, and I think modeling that with your entire family unit really sets a good example for the younger ones.
It does. It really does. Because if they see everything blown out of proportion and anger ignites in the family really quickly, they're going to do the same thing.
Especially when they're adults. You don't want them the cycle to continue. So that's our goal as family members and as caring adults, is we want to promote healthy wellness wheels for the next generation, as well as promoting one for our own. Great.
And one thing that it's an age-old practice, but it's now just beginning to be really recognized as an evidence-based strategy for helping in our wellness work and individually and wherever we go, and that's called mindfulness. It's been around forever, but now people are just beginning to understand how they can do it every day. And brain scans are showing how it can be very positive for one's physical and mental health. Right now, just take a second and stop and think about, or when you're in the midst of a lot of turmoil, stop and reflect on what's happening around you, the hum of the home and so forth. Mindfulness, we could go on different strategies. Different people have different ways of doing it. But Nora, do you want to join me in one way that we can talk about mindfulness and do it all the time in our lives?
Sure.
It's just stopping, sort of closing your eyes, relaxing, and I'll just quickly take you through. Start with the top of your head, all those body parts, your ears, your eyes, your abdomen, on down to your feet, and feel a sense of relaxation. Then breathe in and say calm and relaxed, to let that energy come in, and then let the tension go out as you breathe out. 5 minutes a day. It can help.
I can really see how that would help me stay focused on the big rocks,
That's
the
right.
things that I want to achieve my overall wellness.
And you can find small, we're very, very busy, but small ways that you can discover where you could just push it into your schedule.
Great, great. Well, thank you for joining us for Extension Ed Talks, Managing Time, Work, and Family. Contact your local K-State Research and Extension office for resources or any more information related to the topic. Thank you.